Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from the magical, majestic, mystic mountains of Panama, or the last of the Jaguar corridor, incredible bridge of biodiversity, dense jungle. I want to read to you today, and our last episode was on intentions and cycles, and this is very much an extension of that, but in much more serious terms, where we buckle down. This is an important video, okay? And I'm gonna read just one pre-written introduction and then put this down and give you this well-planned, well-received download that I got during my 8 years with no phone or bank account in nature. That was 8 years ago now, okay, that I've been back to reality. Which reality is the reality? The natural dispensation from above, or the city, culture, space shuttle, photo, mirrors, microscopic cancer structure pattern, interesting stuff, right? Power grid, vulnerabilities, and many other things about this city world. Toxic culture, toxic conversation, other toxic people, lifestyle, substance is very readily available. The TV pipes into your house, even if you're out on the farm and you choose to do so, We have a guy that specifically looks up the old Star Trek episodes. I find that very appropriate. A few of the things. And then we have other people here, I'm not going to say who watch Netflix all day. It's very much a decision-based outcome, a decision-based input, a decision-based experience in all of the dynamic senses. So let me read this quick introduction about a great mission which organizes the mind. When you decide, and it is a decision, that your life will serve something meaningful, difficult, and larger than your immediate comfort, distractions begin to lose their authority. Temptations that once seemed powerful become small beside the responsibility you have now accepted. Your habits become more disciplined, and we are creatures of habit. Your decisions become clearer. What you practice, you will become. And even suffering gains purpose because it is no longer meaningless. It is training. All challenges, opportunities to build strength. A person with no mission is pulled in every direction. A drifter, as Napoleon Hill calls it. But a person devoted to worthy mission develops an inner compass strong enough to guide them through confusion, pressure, praise, rejection, and fear. And I would even go on to say it could be strong enough after time and training and repetition, creatures of habit, if you get your momentous ball rolling to where you're training 95% of your day, because if you train 95% of your day and study, you will be 95% more Jedi than if you didn't. And then you will really, truly, not for fake, not for manipulation like everybody else, not these dimes a dozens, but authentically, you will have that Jedi situation because you earned it, because you put the time in, right? My mission is getting my wings on stage 2 above all, and that's a big commitment. That's a big alignment. That's a big magnetization and heavy compass to keep me away from evil when lots of evil is attacking me. Pay attention to what I'm saying here. Getting your wings and reaching stage 2 represents the moment when self-development becomes service, strength, intelligence, health, and courage, and spiritual discipline are no longer built merely to improve your own life. They are forged so you can carry a greater burden, defend what is valuable, tell the truth in the face of lies, create what is needed, and answer a challenge that weaker versions of you could not face. There's a reason there's not that many people who call out things as strongly as Candace Owens for president does. Jack Kennedy could have had a friend like that. This thing is shady. I can tell you as an honorably served street and military veteran. So the highest mission here is not always the easiest or most glamorous one. It is, in fact, I would say if you do some hardcore stuff without the credit, because everybody's doing something for some credit, some donation to their bullshit mask. If you just become completely raw, man, you supersede all these masks by 1,000 right there, right? The highest mission is not always the easiest or most glamorous. It is the mission that demands your best character and produces the greatest good. And it's only about the bird's eye view. It's what above sees, and they see it all. All right, they see it transparently. So even though we're in this huge experience where there's a temptation to lie and all kinds of other dumb stuff, we don't do it. We're honorable, we're committed to God and truth. For real, for real, for real, for real. You know, in the face of child abusing liars that every time their mouth was open was a lie was coming out, I said, all right, thank you for this, actually, because I'm going to just go be the most honest, truth-telling, truly strong, truly honorable protector of children you've ever seen. Once I already really was, actually, but it made me buckle down just like this episode should. Please like, subscribe, and share. All right? Because we all need to be, not only is your health your responsibility, but you can make the biology around you, the spirituality around you, because it's all both metaphysical and physical, right? Everything was metaphysical first, likely, before it was represented physically. It's all structure pattern and behavior pattern recognition for Jedis who can capture the power of the Force preliminarily, in that sense of recognizing manipulation tactics such as gaslighting and beyond. There is 63 things all of the control freaks do. And you could read about that from Kia Karlberg, the Swedish social scientist and genius truly of our time. It was that was an angelic pass directly to me. And just between me and you, because only you are going to watch this video to this point on your own, I really did get dispensed from above a series of insane raw vision quests or whatever, and along my life, starting from some serious onto some serious now. Okay, so once you choose it and dedicate yourself completely to getting your wings in stage 2, your life, and helping others do the same, because that's the greatest, most miraculous thing you could possibly do. That's what Jesus did in the gutter, to the people suffering the world, you know, that a lot of people wouldn't even give the time of day to, right? But they had character. I'm sure he had a Jedi character detector. There's plenty of people in ill circumstances that want to be incredible, and because maybe an angelic brother or sister was not an angelic brother or sister at that moment, if they could have been at that moment, they could have saved a person from. This is what we need to do, and this is what we're going to be looking back on as those really pinnacle, brightest character moments, you know. So once you choose it and dedicate yourself completely, your life stops being a collection of reactions and becomes a deliberate ascent toward the person you were meant to become. And I'm always wording it like this: your destiny is achievable if you take on all your challenges as opportunities to build strength. You demand the truth, you only tell the truth, and you do not procrastinate once at all. You know, Carl Jung says that the subconscious and the conscious coming together in a transparency, because your subconscious knows what you do. It knows everything you've done, and your body will keep the score. And that's why people who have done some haggy stuff look haggy. I'm not going to say any more names, right? I've said them enough. Not real, and that is forgiving. There's certain types of just things that should be going on with a lot of these control freak, abusive people in every stage of society right now that's not going on. And maybe those things should be, at some point, those need to be some martially executed operations by free mind, graduated, noble, valiant, with clean track record people, would probably be the base that could finally operate and take care of that business, right? However, that base, the social scientists are trying to wash out as much as humanly possible. We're getting more dog eat dog by the minute, and they have already even made Hollywood bangers where we are eating each other. A bunch of them. I can name the amount of series that have prepped for cannibalism, capture of each other, you know what I mean? You can already hear the laughs in the wind of the demons saying, look at your debaucherous humans now. Look at what they do. Look at what they do online. Look at what they do spiritually and mentally. Look at these cesspool buckets of filth brains with all kinds of unimportant self-pleasures and comfort pigs. These people are pigs, right? So for those few of us who make this angelic commitment, man, we're ahead of the game by miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, where all these people are trapped way back here in the Netflix and the powdered donuts and the beers and the social hour and the bullshit conversation, right? The journey is going way the hell out here for some of us, right? And the first huge amount of distance is in here. Man, you're sitting on your own. You're getting up early. I mentioned in the last episode, but didn't get to it because burpee came up yesterday. I'm free today. So the PFI is every time you look at the bathroom door before you go through it, you do a series of exercises, predetermined exercises that help with your alignment. We do these Qigong, Chinese drum, mimicking turns. I have people doing those all day long. It aligns your spine, your chakra. All these things are recognizably true scientific pieces of information that have been widely adopted, and even if not accurate or arguable or whatever, the diversity of them in combination starts to paint quite the accurate picture to where we know fairly what's going on. And in most cases, we never know completely what's going on. And that's what makes true, honest, valiant people so valuable. That those types of sources, roots to fruits, are, if I was to make a holodeck training module for souls, I mean, that's the cream. That's the cream right there. And only few people are going to be in that cream. We all need to churn for cream. We all need to be selective. We all need to choose what's in our garden. We need to be strategic. We import more stronger species and diverse friends because that strengthens and enables our overall organism of the form. We understand genetics to a degree enough. We understand the environment into which we are. We're not completely separated into the cancer structure, city, spatial image, microscope, cancer. These structures, molecular, are all elemental, extremely binary and basic and vital to understand and know as much as possible. If you are not studying like I am, it is a liability, it is a hindrance in the level of challenges and diverse adversity that I am shooting after to have you with me. You're gonna burn up as soon as I run in, right, to the jungle for 10 miles. I know what I'm doing with my water. I've been prepping to get into shape. You've been eating donuts and drinking beers and talking to dum-dums and you don't know nothing, right? Which is, unfortunately for the Jedis of us, probably the best training method for a person who's completely out of shape to get on, to make that hard right turn, to get on that right road and start getting in that right direction. You need that right guy to shadow and to push you and to be accountable to and one-on-one training's the best. Group, that's good too. There is links below where you can start to get more involved. I've got several degrees of separation with a few different channels in a few different dispensations. You may believe or you may not, to where we're actually hoping to dream catcher in, all fueled, to filter out, to cream up some Jedi people who are like, man, I resonate with what you're saying. I'm like that too. There's another person out here just like you. Let me get a hold of these people. Let me get involved with what they're doing, because that's the next step, right? First, you go on the solo mission, you put in the cycles, you have the grand intentions, you have the excellent mission, you keep that for a time, and you cultivate this inner edge. And then you join the group of like people. You are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. The opposition does want you to stay in Jerry Springer land, believing lies, telling lies, repeating lies, living them, whatever, that has you off your destiny path. It has you off your destiny path. And when that is successful, that is highly, highly unfortunate. It's super hard for us super winners who just want to see everyone not just win, but fly higher than even us. Should they be privy to our information or not privy to our information? It is a very high space, actually. But small, jealous minds will have a very negative reaction to that. As Einstein says, great spirits have always encountered mediocre or a violent opposition from mediocre minds. And that's 1000% true. And this is why I pray for the evolution of all of you. I know that my mission and my commitment and my dedication and my burpees and my gym sessions and my farming and my shovel strokes and my animal care and all that shit's gonna get done. I know that, and it's been that way for years. And you step out of something great into something greater. Remember that. You're not gonna pull the rabbit out of the hat going from ill habits, being an ill creature, and getting some kind of excellent reward. That is not even logical thinking. And it doesn't work out. I don't see that happening. I see people work on themselves, sharpen that edge, become angelic, hopefully, and then go out and do beautiful things in the world. And whether they can hang on to their morality, nobility, valiance as well as they would like to, or whatever, that's more challenges to build strength. And we've seen them, right? We're able to get these diverse inputs online should we decide to focus on the right things. A liar, a thief, and a con artist, and an honest, valiant person can all walk this same path in the jungle and have very different experiences. And I've seen that so dynamically, you start to realize, wow. And I heard this quote, right? And it is, everybody gets what they deserve. It's just over a long enough timeline, right? And that also seems to ring true. And the universe also seems to be able to bring things into a natural state of being. And let me tell you, what you really want to be afraid of is people who are really living this horrible shit life when they have the potential to have a much better life, right? And they are lying to themselves, saying they made it when they've done tons of bad things they haven't rectified. And that's what the bad things they haven't rectified is the reason they didn't get way out here. But the syndrome that they lie to themselves, that's all okay, that they shouldn't finally fix what they've broken, that they never get to that actual stage of committed equilibrium, karma, repentance, whatever you want to call it, natural order and recognition of the great spirit and the great balance and the great importance for us, definitely, to do the right thing and tell the truth and take responsibility for the damages that we've caused the best that we can, and try to do as much good as we possibly can going forward from those recognitions that a lot of people never have. This is one of those places where, hey, you know, we're at the status quo. No, the status quo is freaking horrible. The status quo is a prescription of evil. Everything that's going on in the toxic Avenger herd, I would never want anything to do with that herd. I'm so glad that I got away from it from so long, and I have such a clear view. You can't get, they tell you you're on the page. You don't know what it is. You got to get off the page and get that perspective. Is so true. It's really so true. And so this, and I want to just, as a fellow study companion who's from the land of enchantment, originally the desert, right? A desert cat. And then being down here in the jungle now 15 years, with having several different extreme downloads, those being definitely response from Jesus Christ, definite number one, over and over and over. That's an incredible story, and I don't know if without it I'd be making an Angelic Edge initiative. Number two is this dispensation, just the gift of tongues and biological understanding. Really, that happened. Number two, actually, being touched from a family member from the other side, unarguably through the internet, and then several times since, and then physically, and the things that whole interaction saved me from, and the incredible adventure that has ensued, and the incredible bulletproof, and I'll explain one that adventure that has ensued in this Jedi learning experience that I'm so blessed to have received, you know, and I want my fellow journeymen to go out and have more incredible adventures and bring that back to the table and tell me all about it. And I'm going to be so happy for you and so happy to hear about it, and it will complete me because I'm correctly oriented. And I don't even need to think that it was because you were apprised of some sort of information I contributed. I'm just saying that as, let me tell you this too, remember what Chris Langan, and I'll get these clips into some more edited productions, but I've talked about this on the Psychology channel. I will put one link on this video to the Psychology channel, and I'll put right to that video where there's the Chris Langan explanation of how we need to become what we want to interface with, so that it lines up and it can be received and seen and be in that position of, in that echelon of interactability, right? Especially when it comes to a polar ascended point. That all makes sense to me, and I saw a lot of the other stuff that he's talking about out in nature. I'm like, whoa, that's what I see. And he has a similar background to me, but I found all of his information truly fascinating. And while I remain open to new information on all positions. I'm always learning. I'm a master of everything and a master of nothing. I'm a master of a few things and I'm learning some more. But ultimately, I'm a master at nothing and I'm learning it all continuously. You know, the moment you think that you've got your mind around something, you've just stopped yourself from being able to get your mind completely around it. And that's unfortunate. And so many entitled genius syndromes out here, that's what they want you to be. They'll have Jerry Springer people are entitled geniuses. They know everything. They will sit there all sweaty and methed out and tell you about this great business that y'all can do and all this crazy great sounding stuff excellently. I've been around, let me tell you, these people have got the mouth sounding that can sell you your own pants, you know, especially if you're not from that bullshit each other environment, you know, and you don't want to be. I'm telling you, these are not the traits that we want to pick up. We want to get around Jedis. We want to get around respectable people. We want to shut our mouths and we want to learn and listen about how to get these results that they've got, that we don't got, that we want. And specifically only that we want to, and it's about not listening to the people who have those different results. Because if you do listen to them, you're going to have that life, you're going to have those results, you're going to have those self-limitations and self-sabotages that have been programmed into generations by an authentically demonic force of ill information, ill nutrition, ill lifestyle, ill everything, you know what I mean? We are a debaucherous society. There's truly no excuse for it. This Angelic Edge episode is a natural response. All right. Guys, this was a good one. Do the P-feet. Implement that right now. Promise me you're going to like, subscribe, share this one time. Do the P-feet. Now you're starting to build real character. Most of you can't do it. Most of you cannot do it. That's a shame. That's easy stuff. That's baby P layer on what I'm doing right now, which we'll get into more. But like I said, I'm just your fellow journeyman, study partner. I'm never going to exalt myself or really deal with another man trying to exalt themselves. I'm just going to deal with people very lightly, very at a distance, until there's reason to bring it together. I'm not just going to let every vampire start chewing on my arm. All right, here you go. Yeah, sure, let me move your couch too. There's a lot of, and then when the opportunity to do something shady to this person you just help, I'm going to take it. There's a lot of soap opera, Netflix, tragic conflict from the top down, from the creators, from the politicians, from the, you know, we've got to really just cut all of that out, turn all that off. Decide that we're not going to pay attention to that because we know what the intentions behind it is. That we become a control freak just like them, a fat control freak salivating after sick things all the time. On the negative end of the spectrum, when there's all these positive opportunities out here everywhere, I hope and pray for all of us today that we can, through the language of action, stay committed and disciplined and motivated and obsessed with getting our wings in stage 2, because this is what's going to make the best me, and this is what's going to make the best you. And I pray that you can be your best self and give that person to who you love and care about, taking on all challenges as opportunities to build strength. Oh Lord, I pray that as we all pick our sides here, you know, that you come behind us valiant ones, those valiant intentions, heavy, like these people, if they can make those commitments through this video today, can you please come behind them? Oh Lord, thank you. We love you, and we say these things in the name of thy Son, thy beautiful Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Boom. Okay, There's nothing to it but to do it. One step foot in the front of, we're gardening now. Does that support my growth? It does not. Does listening to you, do I value your opinion? I need to think about who you really are and categorize you correctly, and not be emotionally attached to anything that you say. Should I not feel that what you're saying is integral, that you are not an integral person? If they lie, they're a liar. If they steal, they're a thief. And let me share my favorite 50 Cent quote with you, who has a 30-year-old child who hates him, disrespects him, who should be an admiral in his empire, but because of psychological abuse from the mother, he can't even go there. And that's what I'm saying. The big war right now is on the mind, and it's you against you. All right, and false accusations are on the loose. That Slayer lyric, "You against you," incredible masterpiece of music of our time. Sometimes maybe I shouldn't recommend some of this music. Maybe I shouldn't use some of it on the soundtrack at Brandon Angel Fitness on Instagram. If you want to go check out my lifetime story pebbles, I share my workouts and some of my diet stuff every day. You got to put it in to put it out. And nutritionally, informationally, hydrationally, this has got to be pure, excellent, diverse, strategically selected, strategically sourced, checked for integrity. And again, if you can't make solid decisions on integrity, you cannot make solid emotional reactions to any of it, because we just don't know. And if there's no levers for us to pull and evaluate, am I being limited? Am I being robbed by this information? I am? Oh wow, I should get rid of that and replace it with something that's cultivational, that's growth oriented, that's going up. I love you guys. I love every single person, both good and bad. We need the bad ones. Without them, we do not have deceptive challenges to overcome. This holodeck training module for your soul, very likely, because of the easy and the small amount of material that can hold your entire life. It's all recorded, man. It's all recorded. Oh, believe you, I've got chapters that I would love to delete, but the chapters that I'm making now, I'm very proud about. And I need to take my responsibility serious. I need to take this opportunity to do excellent angelic things with my life more serious, and I need to get more done in my day, you know what I mean, than anyone else is doing in their week, or in 2 weeks I could do in one day. Then in 1 month, how many months ahead am I? Stay applied. Flow state to flow state productivity. Gym, farm, computer, gym, farm, creative, gym, farm, 10%. Now, part 10, donate to some kiddos, some unfortunate kiddos, or whatever, somebody who needs it, some old folks home, whatever. Much love to you guys. Let's get it done.